Mic check. Are we live? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yep, I can hear you.
All right, guys and girls. Welcome to the RTP podcast. We are back. We are back after 3 long months. As you can see, we are cammed up now, guys. We're cammed up now. You know, no more voiceovers. You may recognize a new face, and you may recognize a previous face. First of all, I would like to welcome back Cychronic Games, the developer of Starship Enterprise, Starship Rebellion, Starship Origins. Then we got Starship Freelancers and some more other Starship goodness.
And Starship Legacy.
Starship Legacy. So anything you want to say before we get into the nitty gritty, Mr.
Oh, it's good to be back. Good to be back.
Nice. And as you can see, we have a new face who isn't a stranger to the RPG Maker community, but more of a supporter and a developer themselves. Any current projects, they will let you know, but I would like to introduce to the new member of the Rarely Typical Player podcast, RTP, Mr. Marlon Unjaded or whatever he prefers to be called. You know, I like the name Unjaded. So anything you like to say, Mr. Marlon Unjaded?
Cool. Thanks, D7. Yeah, you can definitely use Unjaded for the sake of the podcast. And thanks for inviting me. I've been RPG aficionado ever since my late teens, ever since RPG Maker 2000. And I'm really excited to speak on the podcast. Currently working on one game, but as you know, it's a side project, so the deadline is unknown. But I'm willing to kind of show it off at some point, down the road. But definitely glad to be here again. Thanks for inviting me.
No problem, my guy. And I definitely appreciate you're the one that reached out to me, saying that you wanted to be part of the podcast during my live stream. So thank you for watching. And if you wasn't watching D757 Gaming that day, you wouldn't be here, but right. Definitely thank you, man. Definitely appreciate you. So as you can see, guys, we are bringing to you another RPG Maker commercial game. This is a commercial game, believe it or not, called Heroes of Spyria by Vesper's Games. Somebody's knocking.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
It's all good, man. Go ahead and handle that. But Heroes of Spyria by Vesper's Game. Vesper, they go by Hiro, 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 however you want to pronounce it, and they are in the RTP Discord. So Hiro, this is for you. The game has been a long time coming before we was able to get our hands on this, and guess what? We got our hands on it. We spent a whole week with it, and we got some feedback for you. So we're going to play this video, and we're just going to talk about your game in total. So first of all, like I said, this is an RPG Maker commercial game. You can purchase it on Steam, and there is a demo. Kudos to the developer for releasing a demo, awesome, because a lot of developers don't release a demo. They expect you to spend your hard-earned money to buy a game without a demo. I'm not going to name games out there that developers that do that, but at the same time, give your player a demo, your potential players a demo, so they could try your game. It will save you the embarrassment of people having to refund your game back to Steam, and it just don't look good. It don't look good when we have to refund our money back. You know what I mean? So as you can see, we're cammed up, and the video that you see is to courtesy of Synchronic Games. You know, he is the one that provided the video to us. So what is the Hero Spyria about? The Hero Spyria, you know, just looking at the title screen, matter of fact, let me go back, you know, and look at the title screen. We have 3 individuals. We have a girl with purple hair, a guy with white hair, and a girl with blonde hair. What would you make? Hold on. That's not good. What would you make out just by looking at the title? You know, what would you get just by, okay, look, this is a girl, a guy, and another girl, and it's called Heroes of Spyria. What would you think this game is about, to be honest, without even like reading the synopsis of it?
So you want to start, Synchronic?
Yeah. So, well, Spyria obviously refers to the continent or the world or whatever, and so it's obviously.
Hold on, Synchronic. Hold on. So you know that is Spyria a place in the world already?
No, I mean, I was asked to guess, like, before we even play the game, what would you guess? And so I would guess that Spyria is the land or the place where they live, and these guys are heroes of the land, and they get there, and you don't, there's no details until you hit new game, and then you get a little intro of Spyria and what's going on in it, or what happened so many years ago, and that what's going to happen now, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's what I would think from the title, just what it would be about, what it would be. And again, I've played a lot of RPGs, so like, it just seems like a normal JRPG to me, just from like first
glance of the title. Yeah, I would agree. But I also see the dragon in the background, like image. So I would assume it has something to do with dragons too. So that to slightly criticize the title, I think it's very plain, but the color of the text matches the color of the background, so it kind of blends to my eyes. So that just bothered me a little bit, but yeah, other than that, pretty clean.
All right, so Heroes of Spyria, of course, of Spyria is going to be the world, maybe the town, the world, and Heroes, of course, the guy plays a part. He looks like he got suit of armor on. Then the girl, maybe she's like a healer, a mage, and the girl on the far right with the blonde hair definitely giving me maybe, I don't know, it's kind of hard, it's with the leather jacket and stuff like that. It's kind of really hard, but what pops out to me is a love story. Maybe this could be some type of love triangle, because the girl, the girl looks mad, and the other girl looks happy, and the dude looks confused.
Yeah. The purple girl has she's blushing too. Like maybe she's flattered for some reason.
Yeah. She really do, man. She really do. But all right, so everybody and their mama always have an inspiration of their game, right?
Yeah.
In this game, they drew inspiration from the NES and the SNES era, and they credited games as Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy. Here's a kicker. This is a good one. Lunar Silver Star story.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
And The Legend of Zelda. All right,
I
so
played everything but Lunar Silver Star.
you never played Lunar?
No.
I played Lunar. I liked it.
I think you'll like it. It's definitely got some difficulty to it, but at the same time, you know, it got a great story, and it has, I believe, dragons in it as well. You know, maybe the dragon. Well, all of these games that I did mention has dragon. You know, Chrono Trigger has dragon. Final Fantasy got a dragon, of course. Lunar has a dragon. Legend of Zelda. Does Zelda has a? Yeah, Zelda has a dragon. You know, the first you know, couple of enemies is, it looked like a lion, but technically it is a dragon if you look in the manual. So they're boasting 5 chapters, over 20 hours of gameplay, side quests, achievements.
Yeah. Give it up for the team. I really like that.
36 of them at that. 36 trophies. And hidden secrets. So, Heroes of Spyria. We were able to play this game, and we are able to get a glimpse of the story. So, Chrono, we like to start this off, like the basis, of the story.
Yeah. So from what I could tell from you know, just playing it for like 3 hours or so, the beginning the story kind of involves, without giving away too many spoilers, it involves that long ago there was some kind of great evil or whatever, and it got like sealed up. And everything's been peaceful ever since. And now, you know, so a group is trying to unseal what was sealed and bring the world to destruction again. And so there is an unlikely hero. These heroes come from unlikely sources. To rise to the occasion, so to speak. And it's like, in a rough sense, that's kind of what I got as the vibe of the story.
Oh, so it's no spoilers? Or we're not discussing spoilers?
No, I it's okay to spoil it, but what I'm saying is, like, I actually just have like a tendency to give out all the details, and then it's like, oh wait, I wanted to actually play it. I do that on accident sometimes.
He like to tell everything. So, as you already stated, you know, long ago there was an evil presence, and the heroes rose up to put them in this place and stuff like that. Then that's, you know, 1,000 years later, you know, the world is threatening it again, and next time we got to put the evil back in this place. This game is definitely one of those, you know, and as you can see, let me start the video. My goodness, I am tripping. I'm sorry, guys. Title screen looks so good. It looks so good, and you know, you kind of get, you know, sidetracked with the beautifulness of it. But as I was saying, you know, it starts off kind of like how Final Fantasy VI started off. You know, there was a war so long ago that the evil no longer existed, and now the presence and an organization is rising to bring that evil back so they can have control and complete domination of the world. Correct? Is that
something along those lines? I'm sure that we're butchering it a little bit, but something along those lines, yes.
Yeah.
And then you got and then this beginning part kind of starts off with Madilyn, or what I think that was her name, Madilyn. There's some kind of earthquake because of some kind of volcanic activity happening, and so the first part of the game kind of involves her kind of being separated from the group that she's with.
Right.
And it kind of leads to one thing leads to another, and that's how she meets the other characters in the story that are the main characters. And it's an ensemble cast because like I kind of get a feeling from playing it that it isn't like you have one protagonist. It's kind of like it's similar to like, or it's an ensemble cast. So like I feel like all three characters have like kind of equal like showtime, so to speak. And in their development.
Yeah, it's not like each and every character. You got one main character. It don't feel like it's just a main character. It's like as the game branches on and you recruit the other character, it feels like everybody has their own story that fits into the whole project itself, you know, to the main story, which is great, you know, because like when you look at the games that this inspired from, like Chrono Trigger, you know, Chrono being a silent protagonist, you know, he doesn't really have a background story like Morrow has, or Robo has, or Magus has. You know, Chrono is just a guy that just went to a fair and met a princess, and his whole world just, you know, turned upside down. But in this game, as you can see, you know, the girl Madilyn, you know, the girl with the purple hair, she's basically on a mission to restore order to one of the ancient temples that's been ran by the Order of Wind. I believe that's what they're called. She's on a pilgrimage to restore order to a temple by the Order of the Wind. So basically she's like a caretaker, a priestess, a caretaker of this society, where she's going to check out maybe the condition of a temple, you know, that's in the charge of the Order of Wind. So on their way to the temple, they get ambushed. As you can see, you know, that's where all the fights and battles starting to happen. And next thing you know, she gets separated from her crew. Get hurt, and the guy, the hero guy, pretty much rescue her. So now you have what you call a Terra and a Lock. If y'all play Final Fantasy VI,
yeah,
you know, Terra, the girl with the green hair, you know, she's basically enslaved by the Magitek army until Locke, who is a thief, who is pretty much a vagabond himself, rescues her and takes her to a hideout. So this is basically the same concept in a way as Final Fantasy VI. Except now we got temples and orders, instead of her being, well, she is actually being told what to do by the Order of Wind. I don't want to butcher their name. Yeah, the Order of the Wind. And now, you know, we know that there's a dark force that's after her and after what they want, what she's supposed to do. So she's being waylaid for a reason. You know what I mean? And this where all the magic starts.
And I was just kind of joking at this part in the game where I named Hiro Hero instead of Hiro.
Yeah. So
I left all the names to fall.
What you say?
No, I'm sorry. I left all the names to fall. I don't know why I had to mention that.
I leave names that fall, and that's why I don't understand why developers do that. We already knew her name was Marilyn. Madilyn. We already knew her name was Madilyn right off the break. Why give us a opportunity to rename them?
Well, maybe people just would rather name them something else. Maybe they don't like the name and they'd rather name them
But
something else.
they're already named though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's up
like
to
how they do in Final Fantasy VII. They'll ask and then you can change the name.
Yeah, but you don't.
And then from then on, they'll reference as the
yeah,
name.
Yeah, you won't even know the name before you get the opportunity to change it. That's the thing.
Right.
So I don't understand that. You know, you might just keep their name. Oh, what I would have done, I probably would have added like, okay, she got hurt with a rock slide and maybe she got like slightly amnesia and she don't know her name. Then that's when the player is prompt to rename them. If that makes sense.
That's smart. Yeah, no, that's smart. Yeah.
But it seems like it's with every other character that you get the opportunity to rename them, even after you know their name before.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't bother me, but yeah, I usually leave names default.
But
in this case, I just renamed him Hiro because I just thought that the name Hiro was funny as a main character.
But when you're a commercial developer, you can't leave room like that for error. You gotta be more attention to detail with small details as that, because now the player, it just don't make any sense to the player.
Well,
exactly.
It does if they're. I mean, if they're the one naming them, then they would remember what they named them, right? So there's not any error in that. I think it just comes down to preference.
No. So the error is them knowing the name of the person previously. That's like how Barrett calls. Like if Barrett called Cloud right off the train and said, "Get down here, Cloud." And then you go, "What's your name?" And then you type it in.
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? He says, "Get out here, Merc," right?
Oh,
and then
gotcha.
later you find the name. So
I didn't notice that, but yeah, that is true.
And in the description on the Steam page, you already know all three of their names. It says Guy, Madilyn, Hiro, and Winter as they embark on an epic quest to save Spyria from the mysterious Legion. And that's where the antagonists come in. It is a group called Legion.
Oh yeah.
Legion is pretty much the ones that's trying to bring back the evil forces and take over the world. That's what Legion is, man. That's what it is. So, I mean, in terms, like if you're used to one name, you know, why should you choose a name? I would just kept the names default and just move on. And maybe the other characters that you may get in the game, they should either given the chance to be given a new name, or maybe they have a default name as well. Yeah, we are back, Colo Coco, man. It is a reality. We are banded back together.
Yes, we are.
All right, so we tried not to give so much, but this game has a lot of dialogue. Well, not in terms of reading, but it has a lot of things that you can do.
Yeah, and it's got like its main story, but there's also some side stories as well.
Yeah,
that were optional, as far as I could tell.
It's been 3 months, Puppy Chew. 3 months. It ain't been a year. My goodness. It's been since April, my guy. April. So, yeah, you're one thing that you may notice that we played the game. You're given right now. We are given the we have to make our way back to the temple. We are still on our way to continue our mission. So Hiro is now joined with Madilyn who is like Locke from Final Fantasy, but in her defense, she doesn't need an escort, but he wants to escort her because he is an adventurer. He tired of just being in this small town. He want to go out and explore the world, but also at the same time he wanted to make sure that she's okay. So she ends up hiring him to be her bodyguard. So she pays him 100 gold coins so he could bodyguard her. And as you can see, they both go on quests. Right now we need to get this ship so we can go
to the island she's supposed to check out, like the temple or
Oh, okay. Yeah. D7, let me interject right there. I didn't get that boat running, right? But to jump back to the when Hiro and Madilyn got together, Hiro almost so I think Madilyn, what I want to say is it was a unique moment when Madilyn charged Hiro said I would give you some money, right? Because Hiro offered to just I guess in a masculine sense just protect her because he felt like he was a woman. Mm-hmm. She's a woman, she should be protected. Mm-hmm. But he was like, no, look, I'm gonna flip the script and I'm gonna give you I'm gonna pay you, right, to make it seem like I'm gonna give you a purpose to be there for me and you're not there for because I'm a woman. So I just think right outside the house that really called out to that effect for that person.
Yeah, and she felt like she don't want to put her burden on someone else as well.
Yeah. Somebody said something about my mic. I think the real Tron said something about my mic. How am I sounding now? I can try the snowball mic if it's still scuffed.
It ain't bad, but it's kind of, but we really don't have time to fix that now. But in all honesty, I can hear you just fine.
I can hear you just fine as well.
But they may hear you in a different way.
Yeah,
because
I'm using the same mic the webcam gives me. So sorry about that. The next one, I'll definitely have the audio sorted out.
Yeah, the real Tron is
He said I'm talking through a Pringles can.
It's all good, man. It's all good because
it's all good.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes our mics be jank, but of course my mic is going to sound better because I'm using filters through OBS. But there is options to filter your mic in the program. If you guys want to play with that, there are filters for you guys. But that
definitely
we could work on that. I could be like, oh, you sound right, you sound good. But as you can see,
back to the characters.
Yeah.
So you meet Hiro in a pretty elaborate sense, but then the third character, the girl, you meet really quickly, right there on the dock.
Yeah.
So I just noticed that as it being a little bit lopsided, but not going to speak for the whole story, but I just noticed that.
But I did, she did kind of get swooped up pretty quick. But I do like her character. I like that. I like characters that are kind of smart mouthed and stuff. So she was just kind of It was
stand
cool.
out, pretty spicy.
Yeah, pretty spicy. I like that. And then of course the things start to spiral because she's tied. She used to be part of the Legion or whatever, and Winter is her name.
Okay.
And then so she runs into some of her old colleagues, and they warn Hiro not to work with her, or it's going to be bad for him. And then Hiro's like, whatever, I don't care. So I'm going to work with
Hiro.
Anyway.
Hiro just wanted to get out. He just wanted to hone his skills, to show that he is useful. He's tired of staying in that same village. As you go in the village, is just It's 3 buildings in there and 2 NPCs. You know, it clearly shows that he lives in the boring town. You know,
in a very rural area.
Yeah, and his dad used to be in a very important authoritative figure in his younger days. So his dad lived in an exciting life. So now he feels like, I want to live that life too. You know, I want what my father had when he was younger. I want that for myself. So that's why he want to embark on these adventures with them. You know, he really don't have a purpose on why he should go. You know, both Madilyn has a purpose and both Winter has a purpose. Hiro doesn't have a purpose. You know, so he's kind of like a third wheel, like a fifth wheel, whatever you want to call it, third wheel, fifth wheel. You know, he's kind of like a tag along. But these 2 girls got a purpose. But Winter, she's like, she didn't know who they really was until she overheard, they need a boat. And she needs a boat as well to get to that island, because that's where she needs to go, to that island as well. So it's kind of like her class is a mystic thief. She's a thief. And what are characteristics of thieves?
Sneaky.
They're sneaky.
Stealthy. They steal.
And
probably hiding some ulterior motive.
Yeah,
backstab.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so she's a mystic thief. She would do whatever she has to do, join it up with people that she really don't care about to get where she want to go to. Now her character seems to be ice cold, right? But her character, with the name Winter is cold. It's cold in a
representative of it's a cold season, representative of her personality in a way.
It's cold in the winter, so given her looks, she looks mean. She looks like she got an attitude. She dressed like she's a punk, with the leather jacket and the t-shirt and the black pants. She's not ugly. She's not tomboyish. It look like she's straight feminine. But at the same time, she has that attitude. I don't care who you are and don't care to find out type thing. She did say that if you try to talk to her, move on. But when you go and explore the towns and you enter into this one house, that whole character mood just dissipates. It's like she became a whole new person.
I wouldn't say that. I would say it affected her, and it changed her perspective a little bit. Right, like so she's always cold, but then when she does meet that NPC in that house, it almost what do you call it? Like it sends a shock to her system to then be empathetic towards the character.
Do you agree with that, Cyclonic?
Yeah, because I think there was some learning lessons for her when she was talking to that little ghost girl and thinking she was just a normal kid.
Look. He said
NPC. I gotta criticize that.
He said NPC, then he just said it the whole.
Yeah, real quick, I think Puppy Chew left a comment. He was asking a question. The story is big. Then is the story over gameplay? I would say yes, story over gameplay, in my opinion. When we get into it, we can talk more about like the gameplay and stuff. But yep, I think it is. What y'all think?
I think that the story in this game was pretty decent, but at the same time, when you're talking about an RPG role-playing game, it's all about the story, playing a role of a character in a story. But gameplay is also important too, and if you can pull both of it off, that's when your title will be elevated much further.
Right, but for this game,
For this game,
would you say story over gameplay?
I think that in this game, the story is what keeps it going.
Okay.
I have quite a few gripes with the gameplay and the tile sets and stuff, but and the music, the music and sound effects, like a lot of them are default that come with the engine. A lot of the tile sets are basic RTP that come with the engine. So I feel like the story is what even carried this game at all versus anything else.
Okay. Puppy Chew replied again, so I'm gonna quickly respond to Puppy Chew. Let's get through discussing this game first, and then we could probably talk about story over gameplay in general. If y'all guys want to circle back to that, does that sound good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna answer. I think story is, is the carrier of this project, but it is not just. It's a lot to do. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot to do, and I'm pretty sure Cychronic and myself, can probably, and Unjaded could elaborate more on the gameplay when we get, to that. I know you guys are eager to see if this game worthy of purchasing. Does it have fun gameplay? If it's just story, it might have just been a visual novel type deal. But, like I said, story-wise, every character has an important role.
Yeah,
as it comes. We just don't want to give you guys too much spoiler, but I'm telling you, as of now, starting in the beginning, you just it has kind of a slow burn to it.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you go in the first town and you enter multiple buildings, you are distracted from the main story. Like, everything is optional, but it's just, if you're playing a role-playing game just the sake of playing role-playing games and the things that you do in role-playing games, you're going to get distracted. So I don't know if it's something the developer intended, because he knows that you're going to go in this house. He knows you're going to go in this house. He knows you're going to go in this item shop. He knows you're going to explore. So each area you explore, you get hit with an event. That doesn't have something to do with the story of the main game. It doesn't. To be honest, it doesn't. It's just maybe a tutorial to side quests. I think that's probably what they was trying to do.
No, what it looked like to me, what they were trying to do is the side stuff was almost trying to do like some character development on them, for different ones for different characters.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it hit, sometimes it didn't. There was some that I liked and some that I was like, oh no, not this one. And I tried to get out of it.
Yeah.
It just depends on.
All right, so how can we like finalize our opinion of the story so that we can move into like the gameplay, the other aspects of the game?
All right, so let's.
Oh, go ahead, D7. Go ahead, and then Cychronic. I guess I'll say what I know.
All right, so as you see in my gameplay, I felt like, going into the first town, and I even made the statement, man, I forgot what I'm supposed to be doing. What's the main thing? Because the first time I had to go rescue a drunk, you know what I mean? Then the next thing I had to go talk to a ghost girl. The next thing I had to go buy a dress. The next thing I went to the inn, had to talk to the girl at nighttime. None of that is part of the main quest. So I did three side missions within the first 30 minutes. 3 side missions within the first 30 minutes, where my main goal was to find some ironwood. So I'm already distracted. But soon as you get past that, everything starts to fit like a puzzle. Everything starts to make sense. The missions while we are there. You are introduced with, you know, the antagonist who you really wants to know more about. You know, what's okay, now starting to heat up a bit. Now starting to make sense. Now starting to get good. So in terms of storytelling, I think the developer did a wonderful job. You know, getting his players, you know, more intrigued into what's going to happen next, and especially those who are fans of those previous titles that I mentioned, Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger. I don't know about Legend of Zelda. I don't really see any Zelda, but all those other games that I mentioned, you know, definitely pique a lot of interest. And I think the story is really strong. Out of a scale of 10, I would give it an 8 for where it's currently. And I'm on chapter 3. I would give it a solid 8, you know, in terms of story. Without trying to give too much, without trying to give you guys too much spoilers.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. That's about what I would mark it as well, 8, if not slightly lower, but 8-ish. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
For the story, for the plot.
Yeah. All right. Did you want to add any more details, or I can give my little bit I know?
Give you a little bit that you know, boy.
Okay, so fresh off the bat, it's a little bit I like how they delivered the scene in the beginning where they show you how you end up with the one character. So I thought that was cool. I like the female protagonist vibe because of her bit of independence. She's capable, and I think they let you know that in the beginning of the game. I couldn't catch on the Hiro situation. I did like I'm used to Hiro starts in a house quest, you know, type of RPGs where the hero wakes up in his house and he leaves or whatever. So I'm familiar with that. I think they used that a little bit. And Winter, I like her personality. I think from when I was playing it, they used her a lot as far as some of the dry humor situations and stuff like that. So that was like my gist. I have no memory of any of the factions, any of the problems that they're trying to solve, any of the like situations at hand. I have like no memory. So the problem I have with it is I played it probably like a month ago, and like I said, I thought the delivery was good. But then I played it like yesterday, and I just went to continue, and I don't really understand what's going on with any of the characters. Mm-hmm. And I lend that to some of the generic presentation because of the characters themselves. Because if you play Final Fantasy IX, you can look at those characters and see, oh, you're a little like a thief and you're part of this troop. And if you stop playing the game and you play it again, you kind of have a sense of like what you should have been doing. Mm-hmm. In a way. So that's my gist of the story. I can't hold on to it. And I think that that's where it could have improved. Like, I really think that they put so much effort into delivering it, which was great. But the actual substance, it's like delivering water in a wine glass at a really fine restaurant. That's kind of how I got it, right? Like, I don't remember what we're even doing. But I know we got to go somewhere. Somebody needed some logs, right? And that was kind of where it was at. Yeah. So I think that's my tip on story. I think it's a 6 because the delivery is good, but the context, what the story actually is, probably could be better. Like, I hate to even throw in that option of like, hey, somebody has to die type of deal, but you remember if you're going on a revenge quest because they killed your dad or somebody's captured or whatever. If you ever played Unicorn Overlord, I really like how they delivered that, because of I'll get into it if you want me to, but things like that I feel like very gripping in the beginning, and then you're tasked with one singular like a guiding situation that's like, all right, I gotta figure this thing out. You might get distracted by some quests, but then you remember that I gotta, go this way, do this thing.
Yeah.
So 6 story for me.
Yeah, and for me, I would say probably less than 8. For me, it'd probably be 7.5 ish. I did like it. It did have some rough patches though. It's a kind of a slow burn in the beginning, and then it does get better as it goes along, I thought, but there's some things that could be improved that would make it more cohesive, I think. I played for about 3.5 hours. I just got to like the end of chapter 2 or whatever, and my impression was, I do remember what it was about. I do remember that they're trying to there's seals for this Bahamut that they're trying to release, the Legion, and at the end of one part of the game they undo one of the seals, and you're trying to prevent them from doing the rest. But I still don't really know who the main villain is, or I haven't seen the main villain, or I don't know if there's a main villain. Mm-hmm. But I'm guessing. I mean, it's a full-length game as far as what I can see online, so I'm sure that comes about later.
Let me give you a clue. Oh, go ahead.
But the thing that I think kind of made the story more clunky wasn't necessarily to have to do with the story itself. It was the gameplay stuff, like what D7 was saying, where you get distracted, and also like where the grinding, I had to grind in a weird way to like get past the first part, and the enemies had too many status effects, so like every enemy poisons you.
We tripping in the gameplay right now, but
but what I'm saying is when you run into gameplay like that in between certain parts of story, it actually makes an otherwise good story a little more clunky. You know what I'm saying? That's my only reason in bringing it up at this point.
Okay. One tip I'm going to add is imagine when you play the beginning of traditional RPGs, specifically JRPGs, the armor is always trash, but I always wonder, why is it there? If you got your main character, he's like, if he's a bandit, he's got the bandit garb on, and you have the thief's knife, right? So you can know that guy's a thief, right? And it hints, these little tells, they remind you of the story or the background of the character you playing. If Madilyn had on, her starting equipment was whatever group she was a part of, right? That garb, then you'd be like, oh yeah, she's a this, like if she was like a Jedi, you had Jedi's robe, right? That right there would hit to, oh, I'm a Jedi, and for whatever reason I escaped the order or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So little things like that can kind of pull you back into the story so you can remember your purpose.
Small details like that, that makes a lot of sense.
It all adds up, yeah.
All right, so you rate the story 6.5.
Oh, straight 6.
Straight 6.
I would rate it 7.5.
You regrade it, okay. I mean, like I said, the story gets, without me delivering everything, it does get a lot clearer. There are terms of betrayer and stuff like that, and you do get more supporting characters. The story does get a little bit more spicy, and you kind of figure things out, but without giving up too much spoilers, I do understand. I do get it. I do understand. Like in the beginning, it can be like, oh, what the heck is this? But in terms of, trying to figure out what's going on, definitely don't want to know what's going to happen in chapter 2. You know, you got to have room for some mystery. I think the developer did pretty good at that, you know, not revealing everything, especially the antagonist, because in some games you don't even know who the antagonist is until the last area, you know. But it is what it is. So, all right, so as you can see, every game got a story, but story may not be enough to keep our interest into the game. So most developers got to be creative when it comes to how do I need to keep my player in the game. Story's not working, so I got to keep them entertained with either visuals or just overall gameplay. Is my battle system fun? Is the environment interactable? You know, what can I do to keep everything satisfying to to our potential players? So this is where gameplay comes in. As you start off, you are right smack into a battle. Smack right into a battle. What you guys think about the combat system? Which plays a lot in the gameplay.
Yes. This is where I feel like I have so much to share regarding this, because there's so much to like and so many places to be improved. First of all, to start the game, I love the fact that you get to battle in the start of the game. So many RPGs start off like, specifically RPG Maker games, start off with a lot of dialogue or cutscenes that you have to either skip and you're not invested in. But the fact that you get to battle, that's great. And however, you know, right after that introductory part of the battle, once you get on your own, the battle system gets a little bit hard to manage. It's a little bit like there's too many things in the beginning, and me already knowing RPGs and stuff, I can handle it, but I'm thinking for a beginner player, they're going to need some of these things kind of drip fed to them in a way, right? So generally, that's how I'm gonna say it. But specifically, I'm gonna let you guys kind of reply before I get into specifics. So, what you think, Psychronic?
So the gameplay I felt was kind of weak, in my opinion. So I didn't really like the battles that much because they were the encounter rate, in my opinion, was too high. Like you're getting into battles like every 2 steps, every 3 steps, and it's caves and stuff. And then when you get a step, and then most of the enemies will poison you and paralyze you and blind you, and then after the battle is done, you're still poisoned. And the economy of the game everything is really expensive, and you don't find hardly anything as like just in the like treasure boxes or whatever, not that many. And what ends up happening is in order for me to get through the game, I'm kind of on this part right now in the gameplay footage, buying an item that cured poison was too expensive, and enemies gave you almost no money. So, and the inn was cheap though, it was 10 gold. So I would go to the cave, grind, and then go back to the inn, and then go back to the cave, grind, go back to the inn. And I had to do that in order to stay alive until the characters were high enough level to have the skill to cure them of the effects.
Okay, let me defend Heroes of Spyria for that specific point, Psychronic. Okay, so first of all, we getting into specifics. D7, first of all, before we get into specifics, did you want to say anything about that point you made, battles at the beginning of the game?
I mean, I agree with Psychronic. Like, before you even learn the skill heal, I believe that's what it is. Heal or cure.
It's cure.
Before you learn cure, you gonna be poisoned like crazy. And you going to that end. You going to that end like freaking crazy. And you don't have money to buy the items that you want.
Right, hold on. Answer your first question though, right? About battles at the beginning, right? What do you think about that, right? What do you think? Is that a good addition, having the battle?
whenever I stream, whenever they show battles, I say battle system, battle system. Battle system excites me, and seeing the battle at the beginning excites me because it shows when the developer throws a battle at you in the beginning. It shows that, man, it's going to be intense. You know, the game is more combat, you know, focused, but at the same time, you know, how RPG Maker is, it, you know, it kind of excited me that the characters went back and forth, hit each other, and with the voices and stuff like that. But then you start to see, okay, it's balanced. Then it got some pretty decent skills. It has a bit of action sequencing. I don't really think it has much action sequencing, but it has some. So it kind of preps you and hypes you for what's to come. But you know, as you can see, like later on, you know, it kind of, you know, took a different,
gets convoluted. Okay.
And also back to your question about combat in the beginning. Yeah, I like when games get right to the action. Personally,
Yeah.
I don't think the rats necessarily make sense, but like, but if it was some kind of vindictive foe or something, but there was something in the beginning action, then sure. But it's whatever. It's fine that it's rats. But I'm just saying.
No,
like,
man, no. Like, we really need to get into that because that's almost, because if you think about it, a battle system is a gameplay element as a battle, right?
Right.
But in these RPGs, even the battles can help tell the story.
Right.
So if in the battle you were fighting whoever was trying to break the seal, some of those guys, right? That moment would stick more into your mind, right? So yeah, even if those guys were like easy, or in this introductory period of the game, you're playing at a different level with some different characters, like some RPGs do. Really, that choice of the monster is very critical, right? Because it almost that defining moment in the beginning of the game is what really makes your game stand out and becomes memorable. Like, you know, then you know what the game is even about, right? So the battles do a lot to tell a story.
Yeah.
Agreed. And especially who you're fighting.
Yeah, and so I do want to get through some of the things I did like about battle. So I guess within gameplay, we're talking about a smaller subsection. We're talking about one subsection, which is battles, right? So in the battles, I liked the damage numbers, which was weird. Because they're large and you can see them. So the sounds and the voices really stood out. I thought that was really cool. In the battles, there are a lot of elements that you're not going to catch just picking up and playing the game. I actually used that assist mode. Did you guys use the assist mode?
No.
Right. So I thought using that I didn't think you guys would use it, because if you play RPGs like I play RPGs, the grind is part of the game. So you want to go from 1 to 50 naturally. So I cut on assist mode, right? First of all, I hate to get to like the bad before I jump to the good thing about assist mode. I enabled it, but I didn't know that I had to use an item to enable it. So I'm walking around thinking I'm in assist mode. I didn't even notice that my guys did not level up. Until I then saw the items in my inventory, I used it. Then it put them all on level 50. I didn't notice that until one of my characters died. So, however, I think assist mode is a decent addition. Because first of all, Steam achievements is a really commendable addition. I think that's so standout for this game. I love getting achievements in Steam. Having an RPG Maker game give you Steam achievements is great. And in assist mode, it's like I just want to do story, so I don't care about the battles. I think that's great. But I think the implementation just needs a couple of tweaks. Like, hey, if they cut on assist mode, why don't you just use that item automatically on the characters? Because they seem to, if you say yeah, just do it. So that'll let them know, right? That's an one. Oh, the battle system now mechanically, it has certain options for each character to do like weapon specific abilities. Madilyn has a spear subsection, but inside of there's no abilities. So I think that she should have at least one to start her off level 1, specifically.
Agreed.
Back to jumping back to the mechanics where like you were saying, Cychronic, you were getting poisoned and stuff like that in the very beginning of the game. Like any RPG, you gotta kind of pick one status, right? It could be sleep or whatever, stun, something to introduce the player into statuses, period. And also kind of make the first dungeon a little bit more forgiving. Maybe put a antidote item in the game so that they can pick it up in a chest or something. So I think that the beginning part of the game needs to be massaged a little bit so that a new player can really get. So you have to focus on the new player guidance so that, hey, even though we're RPG like veterans, you gotta be like, all right, well, this guy can poison you, so you gotta use this to cure your poison, right? So however you hint at that, by, like I said, put a poison in a box or make it a little event to say, because I do notice they have that's the Gab extension, right? And in the system where they can, it'll be a little picture box up at the top of the screen where they're like speaking to each other or something like that. That's a Yanfly plugin in RPG Maker. So doing stuff like that, like, oh, you're poison, Madilyn, right? Like, just to give the player identification of that situation.
Well, also too, I mean, when it comes to that, I'm actually kind of in favor of, like, maybe you're poisoned in battle, but maybe after the battle is over, you're not, like that, because then you're just
or it doesn't kill you.
Walking. Yeah, right. Or, but it's
takes you down to 1,
yeah, but I did. At one point, I did get poisoned and then get a game over because I was trying to walk back to the inn and didn't get back in time, and then just game over, right? So,
man, that sounds like Dragon Quest 1 to me.
I'm laughing because he went to the inn like 4 times.
Yeah, right, in this gameplay footage. Yeah, that's how I had to play it. It was better as it went along, though. Like, after I got a couple levels on me, it was like totally fine, but it was a little rough in the beginning for me. Yeah.
And to be honest, I mean, you're playing it like a normal player would play it, so that could be a turnoff, right? Like, if they fail in a sense that it seems like a little unfair. It's not like they fail like with the anticipation of them being good, Yeah.
Also, I'm not much of a grinder myself, so like I like to just get to the point when I play a game. So like, and that's okay. The people have different preferences and stuff. But yeah, this beginning grindy part, it was a little rough for me. And again, as I was saying earlier, the story carried it for me. I did enjoy the game. I would recommend it. But but this gameplay, the way this started out in the beginning, was a little rough for me.
Yeah. Back into the battle system. So I like the action sequencing. There was some action sequences for not only the characters but also the enemies. But the enemies, some of their animations occurred in the center of the screen. Like, you're just seeing the rat doing some scratches that occurred in the center of the screen. So if you put it on the actual character,
like if you saw the rat like run up to them and go move around and slash like on the actual characters that get attacked, then it would be a little better, in my opinion.
Yeah. So there's some enemies that move to the character and like jiggle a little bit, like to do a attack. Yeah. But I see where it could use a little work. A lot of use of that one animation. It's traditionally used in an RPG for some fist animation or whatever those little swipes are. So yeah, the action sequencing is kind of I like that it's not default. It's extended. It's a little bit better than like straight out of the box. So I think like there's ways that it could be improved if you really want to get bang for your buck. I don't like the chibi characters.
I hate the chibi characters. Yeah, that's what it's. I really don't like that look. Like for myself,
I don't like that they're so small. Right.
Yeah.
I actually, my personal game, I enlarged the entire game. So my chibis, I also re-sprited my chibis so that they're larger. And the reason why I'm using chibis, so I can't necessarily count out chibis because they match the character that's on the map. So that's an easy win when you want to match the character to the character that's on the map without doing a lot of art. But I just zoom that thing in. I zoom in so all the little sprites are larger. So maybe consider that Heroes of Spyria, making your sprites a little bit larger just to make you feel more in the battle, because they look so small. But
and for me, it's more so the fact that like they're the generic RTP character sets that come with the engine. So like it looks like every other RPG Maker game when it comes to the sprites with the characters and stuff. And so it's just it's not, you know, I'm not saying it's bad, but it's something that's like, okay, I've seen this 1,000 times before. So it reduces that like bringing me in, you know, to this new universe.
Yeah, exactly. And to jump to some positive stuff, like definitely it's got its own custom songs for the battle.
But also used a lot of the ones that come with the engine too. So like
oh, it did.
Yeah, there was some victory music, some battle music.
There was.
Yeah, and there's a lot of free music out there. So like there's a lot of sites that have free music that you can freely use. And I would suggest that we haven't talked about music yet, but I would really suggest that the developer look into that and find some better tracks, because you could bring players in better to your story with really good different music that people haven't heard before, you know.
Yeah, last thing I'm gonna say about battles specifically is when I enabled the assist mode, I got to see all of the abilities that the characters would have at like level 50, and it looks like Hiro had provoke, which I was excited to see because that enables a large amount of dynamism in the combat. It also seemed like the AI probably had some that Yanfi plugin that enhances the enemy AI so that they go after whoever has the least amount of HP. I know you can do that in the RPG Maker program, but it looked like they were a little bit smarter, which I liked. And but back to what I was saying about, what was I saying? Last thing I want to say about the battle system, the abilities that provoke, specifically, it let me know that dynamism is there. However, understanding how to use it is going to be a challenge for the player. So I would put some effort into trying to figure out how to introduce that to a player, because I'm going to understand what provoke is. I'm going to understand what weakening somebody's defense is. I'm going to understand a lot of like status, debuffs, buffs, taking advantage of foes' weaknesses, stunning them, and all that stuff like that. But really take some time to put in maybe the skill description, what these things do, how to use them. Maybe even a description of the character himself, like Hiro. You could say he's a fighter willing to, take a lot of damage or something like that, because that those skills in that gameplay, that strategy needs to be understood or it won't be utilized. Everybody's going to try to level up to max so that they can just hit attack and kill the enemy. So if you want these things to be used, right? You just want to be able to accentuate their roles, right, in a way. So that's all I had about battles. Did y'all have anything else about the battles y'all thought?
Yeah, the other thing too is like the encounter rate was really high, and it was like every 4 steps getting into another battle.
Really?
For me, it was pretty high.
I'm half and half on that. I couldn't even tell, like, man.
So it wasn't like totally awful, but it was a little higher than my taste. But
Yeah, like I was saying, I do agree with what Unjaded said when, you know, everybody else has like a weapon skill, but Marilyn doesn't have one. Madilyn, why I keep calling her Marilyn? Madilyn doesn't
Right, because
have
the way her name's spelled.
No, didn't she have a pierce skill or something?
No, she didn't have anything. She learns.
I thought she did. I thought she did.
She
Oh, you mean when
She
the
gets
game
it.
first starts out?
Yeah,
When,
She gets it, yo.
So, you know, giving your characters no skills is a bad idea because, you know, they already have job classes, but they have no skills to show any type of expertise in that field. So it's kind of generic when, you know, they have no skills at level 1, but as soon as they level up, out of nowhere, boom, they learn the skill. You know, that's not really a good look, especially they're not getting any type of training by just fighting enemies and learning skills. Like, they just automatically learn these skills, which which RPG maker, you know, that's what everybody and their mama do in their games. You know, they don't give no skills, but as soon as you level up, you get 5 new skills at the first level. You know, that just don't make any sense. And I feel like a lot of the enemies are unforgiving with poison, and especially your bosses. Most of the bosses has poison to like rely under. I feel like in terms of battles, even the boss battles feels a bit generic. You know, boss battles supposed to be exciting. It's supposed to, you know, you're supposed to combine all your resources to win, you know, and use all your skills to win. Just like most RPG Maker games, once you learn a specific skill, there's no need to do any other more skills. And this game suffers from that. Once you learn triple attack, no need to do anything else. Once you learn the poison attack that hits all enemies, there's no need to do anything else. Once you learn, you know, skills, double slash, there's no need to do anything else. And like I always say, people is going to exploit your triple attacks and your double attacks, because if it's scale off your attack power instead of your magic attack power, there's no need to do anything else. And especially there's no sign of having a weakness in your game. You know, there's really no elements. There's no fire, there's no ice, there's no winter. There's only confusion, there's only poison, there's only stun. That's all the elements. That's all the states I've seen. And everybody,
wasn't there blindness?
Yeah, there's blindness too. And that's another thing. You could blind a boss and he cannot attack you. You know, RPG Maker,
I didn't know that.
That's a cheat. That's a cheat for to win a battle. Just inflict a boss with blind. He cannot land an attack because you're at least 90%. There's a 90% chance they're gonna miss every time, and your boss is afflicted with it. It kind of brings down the sightness of boss battles, because I did inflict blind on bosses. You know, and don't get me wrong, there was this one fight, y'all guys didn't get to it yet, but it is a fight where you do fight for elementals, you know, but your characters at this time don't have any elemental weaknesses, but the characters that you get further on will have them. So it feels like the developer progressed better and learned the engine better as he developed the game.
That's one thing I always think of that when I'm like watching you play games, D7, right? I didn't think we actually have to mention it for this game, but you can tell when you're reviewing folks' games, and it's kind of like that first or second game, that there is a level of growth being presented from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. And
sure.
it's crazy that it's happening here too.
But
I've had that in the games that I built. But go ahead, Lisa.
But don't get me wrong, like I'm still impressed what this developer is doing. The eventing overall, is hands down wonderful.
I wanted to get into that after we got out of the battle, right? Because I got a lot of things to nod towards this game. So do we want to wrap up battles? Like,
yeah, I'm pretty much done on the battles.
Yeah, I mean it's not really much on battles. It's just your average. Battle system. It is balanced. You do need to be scale levelly, or you will take a lot of damage. In terms of buying equipment to make your characters, level with the boss and the current enemies, you are going to have to grind a lot. So maybe grinding, is what the developer wants to do, but it also slows down level progression as well.
But I also found another way to make money in the game is later there's like a casino or whatever, and if you just save right outside the casino and play blackjack, you can get it up to thousands of gold.
Yeah, blackjack and blackjack's the best. It's better than
it's the highest odds. So the slots, you have way fewer odds.
Yeah, and there's a dice game as well, I think, too. Like a 12-sided 20-sided dice game that I think if you get 12 or more, you double your gold. So you could probably save and quit there too. Like bet all mats and just save and quit, and but yeah, it's a lot of exploits. Same in your game too, Cyclone. It's a lot of exploits.
It's okay, no problem.
I had plenty of money in your game. I was like, man, shoot, I can buy all this equipment now and be boss in a way. But nah, you still gotta strategize in your game. Your game is just too technical in terms of the battles. But
there's a lot going on.
I did have two things I wanted to mention. So if Heroes of Spyria is listening, I would suggest checking out any RPG maker is listening. I would suggest for a battle system and to introduce the mechanics of the battle system, The Legend of Dragoon. If you played that for PlayStation, that was probably the best battle system introduction I've ever played. I played Chrono Cross is okay as well, but Legend of Dragoon is so much better. It teaches you play as Dart, and you do double slash, and you learn that in the battle system you have to line up the squares or whatever, but it's simple. You only got double slash in the beginning, but it slowly progresses from there. So take a look at that. You can check it out on YouTube. The beginning of Legend of Dragoon, right? Second, forgot what the second thing was. Dang. But everything is good. Was it the statuses? Yes. So a suggestion for boss blindness, right? So you would think, hey, why don't we just make it immune to blindness? Or if he's like an ogre or something like that, you could change his behavior. So if he is blind, he, instead of attacking his additional target, the target he sees, he swings wildly, right? So, and if you change that, you can change the attack patterns. You can change what the monster will do in RPG Maker based on his status. So if he's blind, he begins to swing wildly. That would throw off the player, right? It's like, now he's hitting my mage, right? Now he's hitting everybody, right? Because he can't see. So he might miss a lot. Yeah, he might still miss, but he has the chance of hitting who you don't expect him to hit. So you really want to be cautious about sending out that blindness, or have some, obviously they can reflect the status. If they get blind, they can shoot it back. Some monsters are like that, like anything kind of metallic or ephemeral or something like that. Yeah, consider those options. Be really creative with your boss development.
Exactly.
So that's all I
like
got for
that.
Black.
I like that.
Yeah.
That it kind of sets a trump card for certain estates. Then one boss got blind and poison. Like, he got heal and blind. I'm like, really? That ain't fair to the player.
If he's a monk, he gets blind. Maybe it just makes him better. Maybe he can concentrate more or something.
All right, so I mean, like I said, turns of battle. It's your standard. It's your standard battle system. You got your standard skills. You got your astral sequencing, and once you learn the better skills, you're not doing nothing else. You're either doing that skill, saving enough TP for that skill, and you just doing attack. Anything else you really don't care about. If that makes sense.
So, yeah, definitely makes sense. I guess we want to jump into like other elements of the gameplay that aren't exactly battle, like
all right, what y'all think? What y'all guys think about the maps?
Impeccable. I really like the mapping. What you think, Psychonic? I really like the mapping.
Yeah. I thought that some of the actual mapping wasn't that bad. In like this cave looks okay and everything like that, and some of the FSM tile sets for some of the forest scenes look pretty good. But there is a lot of really generic RTP stuff that just comes with the engine with a base level set, and the world map isn't very exciting looking to me. And then some of those towns are, I think the first town was maybe a sample map or something. It's real, and then it really didn't do it for me. I felt like this game was held back by its graphics, not the custom stuff. The custom stuff looks good, but all the stuff that just comes bundled with the RPG Maker engine, that's just slap a bumper sticker on it and get it out the door. That's the part that I felt kind of dragged this game down.
Well, some people have stated that some maps are sample. Even during my stream, some maps are sample. Realtron stated some maps are sample. They see sample maps. Me personally, I cannot tell you if I see a sample map. If I see one, I won't be able to tell you. But some of these individuals who are mappers, who are delving in the engine a lot, can recognize sample maps. Now the question is sample maps bad for your game? Like,
it's just that, like, if you've seen it 1,000 times before, like I've seen a lot of these graphics like 1,000 times before in other RPGs that I've seen, so it kind of takes me out of the immersion of the game when like it just looks like everything else.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. You guys are surprising me from what I'm hearing now, because the only stream I haven't seen, D7, is your last one when you actually streamed this game for whatever reason. So I didn't get to see what guys were saying in the comments, and they were pointing out that they were seeing sample maps. That is crazy.
I think I got over 1,000 comments that stream combined.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, these guys was just talking about this game, and especially about another feature we're gonna probably bring up later in the podcast. It just got crazy. It just got crazy.
So,
man.
All right, let me speak to I guess from a perspective of someone who hasn't seen the sample maps, right? Looking at this game like just a generic player, I guess, right? It looked great, especially since I was getting some things that you don't normally get from other RPG Maker games, and like for instance the overhead tiles where you're going in the dungeon, you're going under the supports and stuff like that. The lighting was okay, but I can tell. Well, it looked as if, and see, I can't say because y'all are already like shocking me right now, but it looked as if a lot of care was put into it, right? They used a little shadow thing to draw the shadow of the wall and stuff like that. And if it was hand done, then I would feel like a lot of work was put into it. So, but that's the thing, I can't really tell if it was hand. Some people are saying like it's a sample map. That's crazy. But I do see some of the flaws. Like for instance, the towns. I couldn't find the exit of the towns. Some of the towns, I literally just couldn't find the exit. I would just walk the edge of the map until I left it. Some of the houses look generic
and small, like doghouse size compared to the person going inside.
Yes. Also, man, like y'all are really cracking this game open, right? From first glance, like the first scene, I was like, hey, it's pretty elaborate. We're on a mountain and things are happening and stuff. But yeah, y'all are really. It looks like better than average. No. Yes, I'm gonna stick to it. I believe that it does look better than average, because average in RPG Maker is worse.
But even what's on the screen right now, that tile set for like the caves and the forests and stuff, that's FSM, and I think FSM looks good. FSM looks good. That doesn't come with the engine, right? So there is some unevenness in this game, meaning like there's sections of it that are a little more custom, just a little bit, and then sections that are not, and they look, and you can actually see the difference. Some of it looks pretty good, and some of it looks really generic, and I think that it could be just refined. You know, you could refine it a little bit, and it would really pop for the player a lot better, I think.
It's
and that's sad, because that's where I really wanted to gush over the game, because there's a way to do it. There's an easy way to do it too. Like if you're trying to edit your own tile sets, like you can like literally just take the generic tile set that you're already using and then edit it like in Photoshop or something, and you just replace square for square with something else, and then you can see how it cascades through your entire game. So you don't necessarily have to like redo everything to pull it off.
And that's the problem.
For sure.
Time.
Yeah.
Time.
I get it. I get it. You know, and a lot of
money. Yeah.
And most of these developers, including myself, we're not. This isn't our job. We don't make money from this really. So like, it's just something we enjoy doing for fun, and we hope it goes somewhere someday. But everybody's usually got like their own job. They've got other stuff going on in their life, limited time to get it done. So I realize if there's some gaps in the net or whatever, and it happens. Yeah. As a solo developer, how can you get the project done, right? And how long is it going to take? And you know, that's a very valid thing to look at as far as
the game is clean, if that makes sense, right? The game doesn't break, right? Like fire.png is not missing, so the game doesn't break. That's true, yeah. That you really gotta call out for this game, right? Like I
didn't see very many bugs.
Yeah,
I found a couple of them.
Yikes!
Like the part where you some of the sprites ain't lined up properly. You know, I went. You know, I don't know if you got to the scene where Hiro basically went crazy, and he's up in the club punching the rock, and you go up there and you talk to him, and he don't want to be bothered. But if you go down and you go up again, it's gonna like kind of repeat like the next later that evening type message. It just repeats after the event was done. And
gotcha.
And there was a couple. It didn't break the game, but you know, you could tell that wasn't supposed to happen. And also there's you know, spelling and grammar issues here and there. But as you can see, you know, the style has changes. You know, and this is why people say using sample maps can be a bad idea, is because, you know, whenever someone get used to a certain style and you cannot match that sample map style, your maps start to look different. It's gonna start looking so beginnerish. They're like, hold on, this isn't what it should like. What's wrong? Why this map looks so good and this map looks so generic? And you could see it within the game. You could see the clashes with the style and with the characters as well. You know what I mean? We could talk about that too. You know, like every character, every NPC has a bus. You know, you're missing the RTP bus with other bus that are different style, different color, and different shading. It just looks out of place, and it looks like a mashup with you know, as an RPG Maker game, like for your game, for example, Chrono, you know how you started off using VS characters and MV characters in your game, then you made your own. In your game, it kind of makes sense because you got different races, you got different species.
Yeah.
You know, but in this game, everybody is the same race, everybody is the same whatever. Like the one game we played by Renault, I don't think you guys played it, but I played it. I think it was called, I forgot the name of it, but everybody people in the chat said that everybody is related to each other because they look the same. You know, because they had the funny chin looking thing. I forgot the name of the game, but they are right. But at the same time, it was custom bus made by the developer. But everybody was joking it because everybody looked like they came from the same person.
And on that note, in this game, on the busts, I actually thought the custom busts were better than the RPG Maker default.
Oh yeah, of course. It like, don't get me wrong, the bus, this is a RTP game with FSM. Yeah, we can all agree the bus made it stand out. So I understand why the developer, you know, went with giving every NPC a bus, because now you could tell a story. Now you could focus more on facial expressions, because different, you know, the bus had different facial expressions as well, you know, especially the main characters. And it feels like the main character bus stood out than the regular NPC bus. You know, they stood out. But at the same time, once again, you got the style clashes. Everything is not identical to each other. As you can see, you got RTP bus, then you got some high res definition bus with more detail, more anime looking than your standard RPG Maker, and it kind of looks crazy in a way, you know, especially if you're nice in color, your bus is nice in color, then you talk to the RPG Maker bus that's scaled to a higher resolution, it starting to look blurry a bit. It looks blurry. It don't look, you know, it is in sync with the bus of the main character. So it kind of looks watered down a bit. And people, it's not going to be forgiven because this is a commercial game. You guys got to realize this. This is a commercial game. This isn't a free-to-play game. So people want to see consistency. You know, they want to see consistencies with the maps, with the bus, with the music, everything. And this is why I tell people, get rid of most of the RTP standard stuff, because it's not gonna look good. You asking for money, you're gonna have to go beyond the Call of Duty to make your game stand out. Now, I understand why, but sometimes you gotta take the long way and not do shortcuts. Take a sample map around that, maybe change some things in that map so it won't look as sample, so nobody can't really tell. You know, you at least want to make everything yours, but sample maps, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to cut corners. You know, you don't want to work yourself to death. You don't want to do that. But at the same time, you know, are you actually leveling up? Are you evolving, bettering yourself as a developer? Because now, as I could see the inconsistencies. You know, the world map and this map versus, you know, some of the inside buildings look more refreshing because it's a better tile set.
Yeah, and the custom characters that they made for their busts and stuff look better. Definitely look better than the. And just to clarify, it doesn't bother me. Like sometimes, like art style differences are like some people are more sensitive to it than others. I'm not very sensitive to it, but I will just say that the stuff that they actually did make that was custom in this game was the best stuff in it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Yeah. Dang. Y'all are making points, and as I see the gameplay, I'm starting to really like lean into it. Like, oh, yeah. But I'm gonna be honest, and that's my problem. Given it that RPG Maker like pass and not really criticizing it like as a game made in any other engine is probably what people, I'm gonna be honest, some RPG Maker developers will like lean on, like, hey, it's just an RPG Maker game, right? I would suggest don't do that. Whether it's an RPG Maker game made in RPG Maker or if it's made in Godot, Unity,
there's no
Unreal,
difference.
Shouldn't be, right? It shouldn't be. You should want to make your game like, this is going to be so fun. If I put it in front of anybody, right, that's going to play it, right? Like, regardless of RPG Maker community who already knows about, like, we already know about all the assets, and we know about like certain things that come out of the box and custom stuff we can tell, right? Consider like, okay, if I put this in front of X player who just likes the genre, period, they will enjoy it. You yourself, if you came back to this game after making it, like, you would enjoy it.
Like, look
right?
at this,
So really
this map right here. You see how, you see what we went from having nice detailed cave system to this.
Yep, that's crazy. So standout. I did not get that far in the game. I actually got stuck on that one part where you had to go down the mountain and it was like a little green goblin. You had to give him some food. I couldn't figure out what to do past that.
Yeah, the berries.
But
you
had to get him some blueberries.
Yeah, it's easy to miss. It's easy to
I
miss.
had no clue. That was crazy. I was running around. I had no clue. I was like, do they really want me to go backwards?
Like, you could see where the true developer skills are at versus where the maps are at. You know, like the sample maps. Of course, sample maps gonna look better because it's made by the map creator. You know, of course, they're gonna look more detailed. But at the same time, this developer knew a lot in the engine to like to operate and to tell a story. But
and they got it done.
Not everybody is a mapper like Harlequin or Brent Rawson and whatnot, all the other genuine mappers out there. Not everybody has that skill set. You know, so when you're a single developer, you know, making a game, you're gonna have to rely on other people to get better insight. So yes, you could easily tell where the developer in this game cut corners, you know, with the maps and with some of the buzz and with the skills. Because as you can see, you know, you got some astro sequencing. This looks like pre-made astro sequencing, maybe from a Drifty pack. Because Drifty has uploaded astro sequencing codes to his page. After, you don't really see much. You just see skills being cast and some of the triple attacks. It got them with the praying hands, and you know how like they're casting the spell and that's it. Then they get hit 3 times. So there's some avenues where the developer isn't as strong. But here, you know, once you are a commercial developer, you don't care how you get there. You just gotta do what you gotta do and put stuff out. Now, as a storyteller, he is really strong in that. You know, he is really strong with that, but he is an average mapper and an average action sequencer, because you don't really see much in that avenue of action sequencing and battle planning. But the story is the strongest avenue in this game, and the exploration. Like, for example, you know, it's a lot of things you can do that's outside the story, like the extra quest, which goes into the gameplay. You know, there's collectibles, there's puzzles. You know, he's good at those things. But
did want to mention, sorry to interject, but the you can unlock some screens. I mean, some artwork in the game
called bromides.
I thought that was awesome. What else? The quest log edition, definitely great to have in an RPG Maker game. It looks like he was using the Yanfly quest system plugin, which is like, in my opinion, because I've been working with it, actually, it's like not the best. I'm using it, but I would suggest like not use it, but definitely have a quest system. So nod to that.
It's kind of clunky to use, like going into like plugin plugin parameters within plugin parameters, and then how you have to call the quests. It's just really like it's really clunky. Yeah.
From a gameplay standpoint, it's a little bit unintuitive. From a back-end standpoint, it's like heavily manual, right? So
we're talking about Yanfly's quest log. Yeah.
Yep.
I think
both ways. So
I think the quest log is pretty good, especially if you use the map feature. You know exactly where to go to complete the quest.
Oh yeah, no, they did it fine in this game. I'm just saying, as a developer, to use the quest journal plugin is clunky.
Yeah,
not
overall
the implementation.
You talking about Gamius?
It's a definite
Gamius.
No, it's the Yanfly one.
Oh, the Yanfly one. Oh, okay.
But I was actually giving it a pro, right? Like giving it a plus up for including the quest log, like having it, period. Because going back to the game, I was able to go and say, all right, at least I know what my main quest is. I don't know why I'm doing it, but it is go get some logs, right? It does say for the situation at hand, but the overarching story, I think it would be nice to include some details about like why you getting this boat together, and like who you are. You know, characters have little synopsis in a lot of RPGs that just kind of say who they are and stuff like that. So I would say go ahead and include that. So guys are saying some funny stuff in the comments and stuff, but I really feel what y'all saying in the comments.
So the bromides and stuff, like the collectibles, I like that. You know, that's you know, that's like really good, finding Easter eggs of characters, and once again, you know, this is where, you know, where the developer, you know, has cut corners a bit, because if you look at the art, in a way, some of the bromide art don't look like the actual battle. They actually look different, you know, different style. You know, it's kind of somewhere. It's kind of some inconsistencies overall, you know, and you want to be consistent with everything, you know, when it comes to making a commercialized game, if that makes sense. You know, it's not like you're putting your game up for free where people is not gonna care about it. You're a commercial developer. You want everything to be going according to you know, you want everything to flow naturally and consistently. If that makes sense. Definitely, and some Harley Quinn in the comments is bringing it into that point I'm going to make about not only the consistency of the art, but the method in which the art was created. But before we go there,
let me mention some
Yes.
positives about this game. Just to reenact the fact that, hey, this was a solo developer that made the game. The game is completed. It's in Steam. It has achievements.
Okay.
It has like an intro. It has an intro that you can skip if you want to get straight to the gameplay.
Yeah.
It has a custom title screen, which looks great. Some RPGs RPG Maker games you'll get that doesn't have that. It makes good use of the plugins that it does include, right? So I just want to say, like, kudos to that. This game is out there. You can buy it. You can own it. You can get achievements. And this will be one of those games, in my opinion, that like I was discussing yesterday, if we was to have some sort of one-stop shop to find all the RPG Maker games, like this will be on that list to say, hey, you want to get an introduction to RPG Maker games, go ahead and check this game out. So overall, even though we're pointing out a lot of the ways that it can be improved, like I do want to reiterate, like, this is a pretty good game to play. Like 6 is not bad, right? 6 is like, check it out for yourself. I would say, like on the Steam page or something like that, give it some sort of like hook for the player to say, I at least want to figure out this one thing that'll get me to, get the game and play it. But let's get back to
what
go ahead.
What Harlequin mentioned, you might well make all your bus consistent with each other.
Yeah.
Just use whatever you use to make your regular bus of your characters. Use those for the NPCs as well. Use them for everybody to give it consistency, or just don't even use the bus at all for the other non-important characters.
Get Harold out of there.
Exactly. Yeah, Harold's in there.
Dang, Harold's in there. Sheesh.
Yeah, Harold's in there.
Get Harold out of there, man.
It kind of.
God dang.
Yeah, I mean, me. Every time I see Harold in the game, normally when you see Harold, it's normally a meme.
Yeah, Harold's like a curse word. Golly.
It's normally a meme, normally a jam game. I don't really take those games as serious. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And just like I said, him being blown up to like 5 times his size, it's starting to look pixelated a bit. Like the bus, it's starting to look pixelated, it's starting to look decolorized, blurry to the eyes and stuff like that. It looks out of place, so I would just use everything to make them consistent with each other, even if the art is changed a bit.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
I would just bite the bullet, use it for everybody, and just call it a wrap, instead of just picking my characters from different paths. Because most developers, once they choose an artist, they stay with that artist, because they don't want to have several different arts in their game, especially if you got one person creating your characters. Like this guy right here, this is an RPG Maker a character that's been altered.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You see how cool he looks like the Shredder a bit.
Yeah.
And they have a bus for him, but it don't look like this. But this one has been altered. Yeah. Do this for every character. You might as well. It looks really good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I would have did. That's what I would have done. All freaking day.
Yeah.
All freaking day. I mean, some people don't have a problem with the AI program. You know what I'm saying? Some people do. But as a developer, to cut costs, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And it looks better than the bundled RTP stuff.
Exactly.
In my opinion.
Yeah, it looks better. It looks better.
No, of course nothing's perfect, but it looks better.
Yeah, you already gave us cool looking characters, and now you giving us characters that everybody and their mama already seen. You might well just keep it consistent and just keep going all the way. It's a 5 chapter game. I mean, it's not a long game if you think about it. It's not long at all. I'm on chapter 3, and I've been playing for a few days. You know what I mean? So I'm almost pretty much may be done with the game. But at the same time, when you commercial, I mean, you gotta make strategies.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta
I think I would go as far as to kind of ask, hey, how was the quality assurance portion of the development going, right? Like, who was testing it? Was it just the developer, or did he get criticisms early through some sort of other, means, like giving out some keys or some testing?
Man,
give us some previews and stuff.
Whatever this developer did is working.
Mm-hmm.
He got 47 reviews, 2 negative, the rest positive, and barely few are keys, free games.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking that's because it's got some sort of polish to it. It got
pretty good gameplay. Don't get me wrong. The story is pretty good. Like, people like the story.
Yeah.
And I read the comments. The comments, they really enjoy the game.
But to speak to, I think Harlequin put a comment about the AI. Yeah, I think I'm gonna lean more on his end and say I'm an art purist. I'm not completely against AI, but I would say, hey, some of those characters, like, you can see the inconsistencies in the AI generation. And I would say to the developer of this game, please consider noticing these inconsistencies and taking the necessary steps to produce a quality product from the AI generation, right? You want to make sure, like, the hair looks right. Some guys' goggles were different colors, right? Whether that was supposed to be or not, like, you can point out these things. So really take a chance to maybe get some second opinions on your art, get somebody to basically point out inconsistencies they find before they use, because you may end up with an iconic character. Guy with white hair, red bandana might end up being a star in the second game, right? And then people will be looking forward to what's going to happen to Hiro, right? So really pay attention to the quality of the art that's generated, whether you use AI or not. I would say don't use AI, scribble your own stuff, but hey, if it's going to help your process, start looking into locking that down and getting some input on that.
Yeah, he created memorable characters, especially the other character that you get that name start with a D. He created memorable characters, good looking characters. I would just, focus on getting these characters, professionally done down the line, so they're yours. Get a custom sprite made for them. If there's going to be a part 2, not sure is there going to be a part 2 based on, because I haven't beaten the game yet, can't really tell. But down the line, I mean, story wise, you're on point story wise, and I can see why a lot of people, is gravitating towards the game, because it's actually pretty intriguing, and especially like the events to come. You wants to play more. I mean, it's not bad, and there's a lot of secrets. There's a lot of choices that you can do to get different responses. There's, between the girls, you could make there's probably alternate endings to this game. I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't, based on, how the gameplay is unfolding. So definitely the developer is there, but at the same time, this game could be a lot stronger if certain avenues were taken to improve the skills, like a mapping and not using the sample maps. AI is hit and miss, but me personally, like I always say, I wouldn't use it in the commercial game based off on how most of the community feel like it, and these community members could be your potential buyers and your fans.
I'm just gonna say that like I don't have a problem with using AI at all. I definitely use it in my game. But you know, it's not all I use. You know, I do make my own shit as well.
True.
I do actually pay other artists to make stuff for me, human artists. I just do it all. Like, so if whatever's produced by the AI works, it looks good, you throw it in there and it works. Great. Sometimes it doesn't, and I agree with all your points about art consistency and the consistency of the AI. But I can also say it's only a matter of time that it's going to get better. I'm actually surprised that it's even this good. Even like 1 year. I mean, I only started first using AI seriously like a year ago, like 1 year ago, and already in that 1 year, it's already way better than it was when I first started using it. So so I think that some of the things that are associated with AI, as far as like people thinking the style looks not good or whatever, I think that's going to end up being less of a thing over time. It might just be. The only reason to be against it, I think, is more for the philosophical reason of human artists versus AI art or whatever. And people have different opinions about it. But I think it's a great new tool, and I'm glad that it's available.
Can I make a quick point about the game? Back to Heroes of Spyria. Looking at the gameplay, and like you said, you guys scored the story higher. But let me ask the developer, like, yo, please get me to this story that's happening right now. If you guys can see on the screen, the island sunk, right? Hiro's hometown is on fire now. His father's in danger, right? I didn't know any of this stuff is happening in the game. I mean, obviously I'm not supposed to, but I need something that's going to get me to this point right here, because just looking at it, not hearing it, not playing it, it looks genuinely exciting, right? So just hinting to that developer, if anything, and also RPG makers, like the whole community, man, like that is really what's going to get me to play the game. Like, but help me get to that point. I'm not sure how far along this is. Looks like probably hour and a half or 2 hours into the game.
Hiro will become your favorite character.
Oh goodness.
I think he's
mine. So
like Hiro,
I was stuck in a bush.
Hiro just stand. You know, overall, he's the better battler. He looks the coolest. You know, he got a more tragic story than most everyone else. You know, in my term, he's most likely the one to maybe go rogue, if that is a possibility. You know, without giving up too much information, he does look like that individual that just don't IDGAF anymore.
Oh yeah, like when he dropped the guy off the cliff.
Yeah. Like,
hey, don't tell me that. But that's interesting. That's interesting. Right. So
I told you,
props to
Psychotic tells everything, boy. You can't tell nothing from this guy.
It's true.
Dang, I feel like wow, that right there, from what I saw, I'm going to buy that $4 game. I think it's on sale on Steam right now. Dang, how much is it?
It is $3.99.
I bought it.
There we go.
Yeah.
$3.99. I got your game in my cart. I'm gonna put Heroes of Spyria in my cart as well. I got your game in my cart too. So
Yeah.
Oh great! Yeah, give it a try.
I really think.
Let me know what you think.
I really think the game is worth, for that price. I think it is worth picking up. You know,
I thought so.
The inconsistencies of the art, and you know, the battles do get better. You know, I mean, overall, it is pretty good. You know, I would, me personally, I would probably keep that price as, you know, $2.99 to be honest, given the fact that there's a lot of inconsistencies. But for what, $3.99 is probably the highest it should be. $4.99 I think is the original price. You know, I mean, I think all is fine, but you know, buying it on sale right now is, you know, you can't really miss it. You know, it's a good deal for.
I thought it was worth the price on sale. Yeah.
Yeah. So as you guys can see, if you want to purchase the game for yourself, you got the link. The link is in the description. And if you want to support the developer or maybe leave feedback to the developer, how you think about their game, should they improve on mapping? Should they use sample maps? Should they use the AI feature? Whatever you think their game could level up and evolve as, definitely leave them a message. I believe their email is herospyria@gmail.com, if I believe so. You know, it's all over their Twitch page, and not Twitch page, their Steam page, where you can get in contact with the developer. And like, once again, I would like to introduce the new co-host, Marlon Unjaded, and go by Unjaded as well. You know, as you found out for yourself, he is very well versed in the RPG Maker engine. You know, the guy ain't capping. He's very articulate in speaking, and know his stuff. And as you can see, Cychronic, he's the same. You know, he hasn't changed. He came back definitely even stronger and with the same passion of RPG Maker. And we're just gonna leave it here for now, guys. What you guys think? Is this game a gem? Is it not a bad game? Is it a bad game? Will you not touch this game with a 10-foot pole because it has AI art in it? Or are you sympathetic with the developer for having, they got to do what they got to do, to make their game look good? And we can't deny AI art do look good. It does.
It can look good. It can look good. It can look awful.
Yeah, definitely. You want to pick up the game for yourself, definitely do so. So, I think that's all I got for tonight, guys. Unless you guys got any more. So,
no, I
was just gonna say this game. The second game is going to come out. If there's a Heroes of Spyria 2 and it's like marginally better than this, then folks are going to go back and play the first one. So keep up the great work, Heroes of Spyria. I think consider some of the things we suggested. Strongly consider. So because we're excited to see if there's a sequel that addresses some of the challenges we had. People are going to be like, "Oh, what happened in the first one?" So
also in the first one, you can go back and remaster something you've already made. You might get to a point as a developer, as a solo developer, where you're like, you know what, this is good enough to release. But then you still, after your game is released, you can still make some quick improvements to it that will make it pop more for whoever finds it next, right? So
the core
for
is
sure.
there. The core is there with the help.
The core is there.
The help menu, the custom UI. I like how you switch between the characters. Their HP bar kind of fill up or go down depending where they're at. Little details like that. In the stat menu. Little details like that make your game. It's like you did all you could. Like, this developer definitely put everything that he could into this project, but I know for a fact he could do a whole lot more. And I really feel like he can definitely level up his skills and make a way much better, prettier game than this. I mean, the game is already good, it looks nice, but he could definitely make it
be elevated
better. Make it better, definitely. So before we go, it is Simple Gaming's birthday, y'all. The guy leveled up, and it is his birthday. So if you want to wish him a happy birthday, definitely wish him a happy birthday and make his day feel special. So
happy birthday, Simple Gamer.
So I see the AI right now. The AI thing and stuff.
It'll be a good discussion for a future episode, I think.
And people say your keyboard clicks are coming in loud. Just a heads up for the next stream. I noticed that, but both of them keyboards are clicking and clacking. So
mechanical keyboards.
So that's probably from a noise gate. Probably got to install a noise gate.
I'll just like briefly mute my microphone when I'm typing like crazy or something.
Yeah. But Good
I'll just
episode.
remember.
Good episode,
Yeah.
guys. Good episode. And
Yeah, I think it was.
and hope we'll come to you next week with another game, guys. So until next time, don't forget, new time is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And once again, this young man to my left is Marlon Unjaded. And the other young man to my right is Cychronic Games. And I'm your boy D7. Until next time, guys, y'all have a good one. And we will see you guys later.
Peace out.